Auburn Blitz is now on the air. Your daily look into what's happening in Auburn athletics. With your host, Andy Graham, Brett Pritchard, Randy Lee, War Eagle.
Good Tuesday afternoon. Welcome into the Auburn Blitz. I'm Randy Lee alongside Jim Hardy, and we'll take your phone calls all the way up until the 1 o'clock hour. 256-234-6221 is our phone number. Love to hear from you out there. As we head into the program today, Jim and I are kind of hashing it out up here, what went on in the national championship game, and Jim kind of set me up with Mark Cuban's comments, I guess, while he was being interviewed last night, and the angle that Jim and I have been going after all week. You know, one, the general manager position in college athletics is about as important a role as it is in the professional ranks right now, and there's all kinds of different ways to get it done, Jim, but at the end of the day, you got to create an environment and a culture and pick the right Bows and Joes and put them led by a great coach like Signetti was this year. And when you get all of those pieces together, you can make miracles happen like Indiana did, but until you get, even if you're missing one of those pieces, it can be really difficult.
Oh, yeah. Well, and you know, what we were discussing before this thing started is Cuban kind of laid it out for us. There's two models out there of how to do things. He believes in the Indiana model of going after the blue-collar, hard-working fella, give him half the amount of money and make him a member of a team, and then he works hard and wins it. Now, as you and I discussed off the air, we do think they probably paid Mendoza $2 million, somewhere in that ballpark. I'd have to look it up and find out. I just looked up, they paid Carson almost $5 on Miami's side.
Yep.
So Miami, as we've talked about in the last week or so, has been willing to, like you said, go pay that big money quarterback, bring him in, Cam Ward being one of them, and bring that, like this year, they're trying to throw it, I can't remember the kid's name now, from Duke. They're trying to give him $6 or $7 million, and that's their blueprint, is go pay the money, bring in at the high-profile spots, bring in that big quarterback, bring in like Texas is doing, bring in that Cam Coleman for $3 or $4 million. So there's two philosophies out there, but what was really cool is last night both of them ended up in the same place.
They did.
You had somebody that spent a bunch of money, or we think a decent amount of money in Miami, and in Indiana that did not, took the blue-collar approach, and both got to the same spot.
They did. And, you know, I've been the one sitting up here, and the reason that we're going down this path when you're watching an Auburn show is what's the correct way to go about finding a quarterback these days. And it is upsetting for Jim and I to get wholeheartedly behind the quarterbacks that we pick out of the high school ranks. You are a massive Walker White fan back in the day. I agreed, too. I thought he was a perfect fit. I was a massive Deuce Knight, and you were as well, fan, but you don't keep them around. So what is it? It's dead money, Jim. It's not money that you spent that you're going to get any value out of. And so what is the proper way to go about it? Well, I can tell you what the proper way definitely is right now is to go get a transfer quarterback with a lot of experience. Oh, yeah. I truly believe that. I mean, now you can say that one spent a couple of $1 million more, but no matter what, Mendoza wasn't groomed at Indiana.
Right.
Did they get the ceiling out of him? Absolutely they did. But he had learned to play the position and had been developed at Cal.
Sure.
Ends up at Indiana, wins the Heisman, wins the MVP last night, probably has a play that we'll be watching the rest of our lives in the touchdown run on the draw on the fourth down play, which was just a straight wheel play by him. To get the football into the end zone, and a Heisman moment and a championship moment. But nonetheless, no matter how much the difference is in the pay, they're getting an elder statesman to go back there and play quarterback, and it may only be for a year. But the programs that seem to be getting here year in and year out are doing it that way.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was getting at in pre-show talking about it is this is an Auburn show. We're looking for an Auburn model. How does Auburn get there? Can Auburn
moving forward?
Yes. Can Auburn pay the LSU $50 million? I doubt it going forward. But can Auburn do what Indiana do and go and what some of you see Golish doing, getting some guys with some experience, bringing them in the right spots? What is the new formula to get us there? Because paying $50 million a year ain't the formula.
Well, paying $3.5 million for a quarterback's a good place to start.
Right.
Another guy that has taken a ton of snaps and has got great stats to back up the reason that you're paying him that kind of money. Can he do it at this level? We're about to see with Byron Brown. But it was a great game last night, and I didn't feel like it was too much of a different philosophy in the way that those two teams are built. One thing that is always going to win football games is physical play. And both of those teams are built for physical play. Coach Cignetti was as disturbed by his offensive line play as anything at the end of the game, if you watched. I think I saw a response on Twitter maybe that that poor offensive line is going to have to go back, even though they won a national championship, and live through the film study with him. But a lot of that was built by the way that Miami played on the defensive front, man.
Sure.
They're so good up there and so good on the edges that they cause disruption. And vice versa. I thought Indiana's defensive line last night was the equal to Miami. I haven't seen anybody in this playoff run match Miami's physicality on the offensive line to where when Miami decided, Jim, that they wanted to run downhill, that they did it at times, but they didn't do it to the level that we've seen them do it in the past couple of weeks.
Well, I mean, you know, they caught them in a couple of situations. If you go back and look at that one long touchdown, whatever that was, 60 or 70, they caught Indiana defensive lineman out of place, and that's why that whole thing blew. Other than that, like you said, Indiana's line kept them in check.
They matched physicality. Real small splits for both of those teams, so you can tell by that they're wanting to run downhill at you. Great running backs for both teams, good physical running backs. May look a little different. You know, Miami's are a little larger.
Right.
But Indiana's made for durability and running between the tackles, too. It's a blueprint.
It is.
And it's nothing more than that. But I think 10-year ago blueprint for winning college football games is way different than it is now. So you are tempted to come into shows like this today when we're going to look at depth chart for Auburn and talking about the players of what just got them there last night. Like, what can we replicate with Golish, who I think has the demeanor, the physical demeanor, I'm expecting you to be as competitive and fiery as I am out there on the field. And in my lifetime, that's what's won football games at Auburn. Is that kind of workmanlike blue-collar mentality, especially on the defensive side of the ball, at least when you and I were growing up in the 80s. And we've gotten away from that a little bit recently.
Well, and that's like we're talking about, in this thing day and age now going into a business, you still, taking the money out of it, you still got to have what you referred to, the Pat Dye play days, where a guy come out there and he was a blue-collar, didn't nobody know him from nobody, worked on a farm somewhere, and he got out there and worked his butt off, and he turned into a player.
Well, let's look at some of the stats last night, just as we're going to kind of go down. 342 total yards for Miami to Indiana, only 317. Look, 10 years ago, you got, Alabama and Clemson playing in a national championship game where they're both scoring in the high 40s and both racking up 550 to 600 yards of offense. Those days don't seem to be. It feels like to me, and I'd like your take on that, are the defenses catching up with the offenses a little bit?
No, I think my honest opinion is I think the talent has dispersed. Because those two teams you just talked about, that's when Saban was able to build teams. When he had second and third team guys sitting on the bench, it was as good as our first team. Yeah. When he was, as they don't want to admit it, when he was paying them out of the back of Dodge Chargers, like an old LSU coach said the other day on an interview, and I brought it up with Andy one time. It was what's the big heavy set guy coached at LSU?
Well, Orgeron.
Yeah. Orgeron said it. He was on a podcast and he was being funny about it, but he said that, man, the only thing that's changed with NIL is he said we used to have to go in the back door with the money. Now we can come in the front door.
Yeah.
And I'm not knocking Alabama. I'm just saying Nick figured out a system. Whatever he was doing, he had people 3 deep that we didn't have but one of. And Clemson, Dabo figured out the same thing. So I thought you were looking at 2 of the most talented teams in college football at that time. Now, because the money has dispersed it, it's a whole different ballgame.
Well, and it does, but even in the high school ranks, it feels to me a little bit like, unless the talent discrepancy is what you're bringing up, that the defenses are slowing down the offensive output from what we saw maybe a decade ago. But I may be wrong by that. I'm sure there's stats out there to prove whether I'm right or wrong with that. But back to looking at rushing yards, passing yards, both of these teams were just held down defensively. They didn't get anything big. And look, if you take away that massive run for Miami, they only had 110 yards rushing last night.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
So they did very little outside
You
that
pull
play.
that one mistake from an Indiana lineman that got inside instead of staying outside to hold his edge, and it's a different total right there.
Yeah.
There's 60 of that going.
It was a defensive-minded football game last night.
Now,
I thought it was a good one.
Now, to look at it on your side, what you're presenting as well, as far as the numbers go, being a coach of myself, you've really got to look at that. You got guys now that are getting paid like, what's Durkin getting? Almost $2 million to be defense coordinator. He is going to pick an offense apart. If you're paying me $2 million, I'm going to watch film every day, all day, until I figure out what Segnetti's doing, and we're going to pick it apart. And, yes, at some point I do believe a great defensive coordinator can match up with an offensive coordinator and shut down some of their plays mentally.
I think it's evening out a little bit.
Yeah.
I do. I sense that the up-tempo, get to the line of scrimmage, run 80-plus plays a game.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that doesn't work because, look, we can see firsthand this year when Derek Nix went back to what he was comfortable with, which is hitting that tempo against Vandy and other teams that Auburn's offense started picking up. So I'm definitely not saying that brand of football is not working, but I'm saying that doesn't work all the time the way that it did if you had really good skill players like we saw, 2013 version of Auburn.
Now, here's the philosophy to roll with that as well. You also got defensive coordinators and offensive coordinators that choose to slow the game down on purpose so that they can make them grind it out and have to slow down and show me when you walk to the line offense what you're doing, how to pick it apart, how to stop it.
Well, there's so much more being disguised today.
Yes.
And I have a hard time being an old secondary player that enjoys watching and coaching secondary more than anything else I do. I have a hard time recognizing exactly what they're in because they change it up at the snap of the football, which makes it difficult.
And I bet if we were to find the numbers, maybe we can find it in the break, I bet you find out that this game was run like what you talked about, opposite, where Nix ran 85 plays in a ball game. I bet Miami, Indiana didn't run 50 to 60 in a game.
Well, we'll run that down. 256-234-6221, just getting started with the Auburn Blitz.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Adams Motorsports of Montgomery knows it's the best time to ride. Right now, get the best deals on all of our Suzuki and Kawasaki street bikes, side-by-sides, four-wheelers, and dirt bikes. Adams Motorsports has it all, and our inventory is vast. Get out there, ride the streets and trails, and let Adams Motorsports make your pleasure our business. With family customer service and service after the sale. It's time to ride, so come see us on Eastern Boulevard in Montgomery or online at adamsmotorsports.com.
L&M Pawn and Gun, located in the USA Factory Stores in Opelika, is East Alabama and West Georgia's complete gun, tactical, and pawn shop. It invites the region to shop over 500 firearms in stock, on the floor, and ready for sale at the market's best values. At L&M Pawn and Gun, we specialize in all tactical guns, equipment, and parts, including AK-47 and AR-15s. Specialized parts for tactical guns as well as suppressors and other parts you can't find anywhere. L&M Pawn and Gun has it all in the USA Factory Stores in Opelika, or shop online, lmpawnandgun.com.
This is Kathy Holmes with Pepper Tree Steaks and Wine. Jeff Verner and I opened in East Montgomery 25 years ago and have become the premier butcher shop, wine retailer, and caterer in the River region. We are excited to invite you to our newest location at 2459 East Glen Avenue in Auburn, Opelika. We want to become your one-stop shop for the freshest cuts of meat in town, grab-and-go casseroles, gift items, and the best wine selection in the area. Think of us when catering your next event. Check us out online at steaksandwine.com for daily lunch specials and details on upcoming wine tastings and fun events.
Looking for hometown service and name brands you can trust? Come to Presley Appliance and Furniture. From the best choice in appliances from Whirlpool, Maytag, Amana, and KitchenAid to home furnishings, Presley's is your one-stop shop for comfort and quality. And now we've added the Mattress Shop by Serta Simmons Bedding and top quality sheets and pillows from Caraloha. Shop Presley Appliance and Furniture on Cherokee Road in Alex City or online at PresleyAppliance.com. That's PresleyAppliance.com.
There's only one option for top-of-the-line aftermarket upgrades on your vehicle, and that's Frontline Outfitters. We offer quality parts, lift kits, custom wheels and tires, bed covers, step bars, and toolboxes that are installed by trained and skilled professionals, to custom powder coating with hundreds of colors and finishes, to the highest quality film for window tinting using state-of-the-art film cutting technology. Call Frontline Outfitters at 256-409-8100. Don't be in the back of the line. Put your vehicle at the front with Frontline Outfitters.
Looking for the perfect spot to unwind? Welcome to Bunkers. Our friendly staff and vibrant atmosphere make Bunkers the ultimate hangout space for all ages. With 6 state-of-the-art golf simulator stations, you can play around with friends no matter the weather. Enjoy mouth-watering food and a wide variety of handcrafted mixed drinks. With our attached parking deck, access is always hassle-free. Make your next night out unforgettable at Bunkers.
Hillaby Towers is an affordable senior citizens community located in Alexander City on Highway 22 East. Spacious one-bedrooms are available now. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today to find out more information on Alexander City's best-kept secret, 256-329-0552. That's Hillaby Towers in Alexander City.
Visit our new locations in Gadsden and Oxford today.
At Glenn Smith Chevrolet, let's kick off 2026 with a bang. We will not be undersold. Chevy Traverse with 3-row seating up to $7,250 off. The impressive Chevy Equinox up to $5,500 off. Enjoy no payments until springtime. Get your lowest price guaranteed today. Smart people from all over the USA come to Glenn Smith Chevrolet. Get ready to smile.
Back into the Auburn Blitz, presented by J.A. Smith Construction and Sensagreen Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. It's freezing out there. Jim, it did warm up before I walked in today, but my heater was on nonstop last night, both units. And if yours is not working out there, I feel sorry for you. Give Sensagreen Heating, Cooling, and Insulation a call. 334-487-3555 is their number, not only in the Auburn and Opelika market, but here in the Lake Martin region. Jim, just to close out with that, the parity in college football this year was enjoyable to me. It doesn't feel like going into next year, as I segue into our next topic here, that we're starting the next season with no question at all who's going to be the top 4 or 5 teams going in. I think there's a lot of questions that go into that. And that, to me, now, if I were an Alabama fan and I was one for 15 years that every year I know I'm one of the top 4 teams, I might not say what I'm saying. But that has not been the case for Auburn. So count me in on one that at least likes that part of the direction of college football.
Sure. No, I agree with you. There's so many things right now that are in question marks of transfers and whose quarterback came in, who's keeping their quarterback. It'd make it hard for me to lay out a top 25.
Oh, it'd be really hard to lay out a top 10.
Yeah.
And that is the segue here. And Andy putting this together on segment 2, and this is to James's point. Yesterday, ESPN puts out their 2026 top 25 the day after the title game. So James said it yesterday. You go pay $50 million to get a little gold trophy to put in a trophy case, and then next year you got to figure out how to find $50 million more to go out there and put the team together, because everybody's forgotten about what you did in the past. It's all about what's going on in the future, and this proves that James's statement is correct. So no time at all to enjoy the present. It's all about next year. And by the way, Indiana is preseason number 1 in next year's poll. If you look into this, Auburn not on that top 25 list. So we thought just a reasonable expectation as we head into the year. One, you surprised at all that Auburn's not on that top 25 poll, Jim?
Yeah, I mean, you got to consider all the years in a row that they've put together losing seasons. You can't, even with a Byron Brown coming in, you just can't give them the benefit of the doubt and say they're going to overcome it.
Well, and so we look at the 2025 results, and of course Auburn goes 5-7. I mean, this is a season that was kind of expected, but it wasn't expected to I mean, I didn't expect us to make the playoffs, but by no means did any of us expect Auburn to not have a winning season heading in, Jim. So I do think getting off the schneid and having a winning season is a reasonable expectation. One, for next year. Agree with that?
Sure.
Okay, with that being said, here are the teams and the matchups that Auburn has coming in, and these were their 2025 results. Of course, Baylor's in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. Baylor, who we kind of built up to having a chance to be a very good team this year, wasn't.
And you took their running back.
That's right. So they end up 5-7 on the season. So like your chances there.
Yeah.
Auburn plays a Southern Miss program that's not a 1990s and early 2000s version of Southern Miss. This is not a great football program. They did have a winning season this year, which is a little better than what we've seen in years past, as they finished 7-6. A reeling Florida team in week 3. They were 4-8 this past year and 2-6 in the conference. I think both of us are on the exact same parallel basis right now with new coaches, and hopeful that things get turned around, but no clue whatsoever if they do. And then you get a Vandy program that, of course, was 10-3 and 6-2 in the conference, which was out of nowhere with Diego Pavia and what they've been able to build over there at Vandy. But you look at those first 4 weeks, Jim, any other year you go into this, or any other time in my life for Auburn, you go, man, I'll sign up for that. That's 4 winnable football games. Agree with that, Jim?
Oh, yeah.
So kind of looking down and seeing what an expectation would be. Then you go on the road to Tennessee. This was an 8-5 and 4-4 Tennessee team this year that you're going on the road to next year. And of course, all of these things can change. It's so fluid right now with the changeover in NIL and quarterbacks and who's leading these rosters. But watching Tennessee, if anything, they didn't take a leap forward this year.
A side note on them, I saw it last night after the ball game was over with. As of last night, they bought Indiana's strength and conditioning coordinator, made him the highest paid strength and conditioning guy in the country. He's going to get $1.6 million to be their strength coach.
I look at this schedule, though, for Auburn, and I look at these first 5 weeks, and I'm not going to come up here and say like we have in the past when I've drank the Kool-Aid and I show up and I got orange and blue glasses on. But those are not non-winnable games in all 5 of them. I mean, if Auburn were to win 4 of those 5 or all of them, if we put a good roster together, I'm not shocked. Now, if we lose 3 of them, that's where we've been.
Right.
We've had years, a couple of years ago, Auburn goes, we got 5 games, all at home. We should have a great start to the season. You look down and you're like, this is terrible.
Right.
How did this go that poorly? But if you had to ask for a first season and matchups for Golish, I think these are all winnable football games, and we're nowhere near done with what this schedule looks like.
Yeah, and if you take into consideration the first 5 you're looking at, all of those teams have had issues outside of Vanderbilt in winning last year themselves, and this year we're ahead of every single one of them in the portal rankings. So if rankings mean anything to you for portal, Auburn's ahead of Florida, ahead of Vanderbilt.
I think that those, a lot more than high school recruiting rankings, are what we need to look for moving forward.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate until rules change. That's where the importance lies, and that's what kind of roster year in and year out you can put together, and a third of that even when you've got a good football team. is building within that portal. And so Auburn's doing a good job there, in my opinion, and Golish doing a tremendous job in year one, piecemealing a good team together. 256-234-6221 is our phone number. Give us a call.
Chick-fil-A is always the best option when you're on the go, but they are also great when it comes to planning your next event, from tailgating to birthday parties to weddings. Call Chick-fil-A Alexander City at 256-289-7955 for catering, or order on the Chick-fil-A app. Make sure to choose the Alexander City location and have your catering order ready to go. Nugget trays, mac and cheese trays, fruit trays, cookie trays, gallons of our famous lemonade or tea, and chilled grilled chicken sub sandwiches, and a lot more options. Make it Chick-fil-A Alexander City for your next event.
For air that's cool and clean, call Sensi Green. For air that's cool and clean, we care about the air you breathe. Call Sensi Green.
Turn to the experts at Sensigreen and find out how to get up to $1,000 in carrier cool cash rebates. Visit Sensigreen.com today to be worry-free when it comes to your home comfort and indoor air quality.
For air that's cool and clean, we care about the air you breathe. Call Sensi Green.
Looking for hometown service and name brands you can trust? Come to Presley Appliance and Furniture. From the best choice in appliances from Whirlpool, Maytag, Amana, and KitchenAid to home furnishings, Presley's is your one-stop shop for comfort and quality. And now we've added the Mattress Shop by Serta Simmons Bedding and top quality sheets and pillows from Caraloha. Shop Presley Appliance and Furniture on Cherokee Road in Alex City or online at PresleyAppliance.com. That's PresleyAppliance.com.
There's only one option for top-of-the-line aftermarket upgrades on your vehicle, and that's Frontline Outfitters. We offer quality parts, lift kits, custom wheels and tires, bed covers, step bars, and toolboxes that are installed by trained and skilled professionals, to custom powder coating with hundreds of colors and finishes, to the highest quality film for window tinting using state-of-the-art film cutting technology. Call Frontline Outfitters at 256-409-8100. Don't be in the back of the line. Put your vehicle at the front with Frontline Outfitters.
At Central Alabama Community College, we provide a quality education that will set you up for success. Whether you're pursuing a degree or advancing your career with technical training, CAC offers premier programs at 4 campuses in Alexander City, Childersburg, Prattville, and Talladega. From industrial, electronics to machining, our students are prepared for the workforce or further education. At CAC, you'll enjoy vibrant campus life, exciting athletics, and personalized support, all at an affordable price. Your future starts here at CAC. Apply today.
This is Kathy Holmes with Pepper Tree Steaks and Wine. Jeff Verner and I opened in East Montgomery 25 years ago and have become the premier butcher shop, wine retailer, and caterer in the River region. We are excited to invite you to our newest location at 2459 East Glen Avenue in Auburn, Opelika. We want to become your one-stop shop for the freshest cuts of meat in town, grab-and-go casseroles, gift items, and the best wine selection in the area. Think of us when catering your next event. Check us out online at steaksandwine.com for daily lunch specials and details on upcoming wine tastings and fun events.
Looking for the perfect spot to unwind? Welcome to Bunkers. Our friendly staff and vibrant atmosphere make Bunkers the ultimate hangout space for all ages. With 6 state-of-the-art golf simulator stations, you can play around with friends no matter the weather. Enjoy mouth-watering food and a wide variety of handcrafted mixed drinks. With our attached parking deck, access is always hassle-free. Make your next night out unforgettable at Bunkers.
Henderson & Coker is a premier custom general contractor located in Central Alabama. With over 50 years of industry experience, Henderson & Coker has been crafting stunning custom residential and commercial spaces for families and businesses throughout Alabama and Georgia. If you're in the market for a top-of-the-line luxury home or specialized commercial work, contact the experts at 256-750-7383 and check them out on the web at hendersonandcoker.com.
Welcome back into the Auburn Blitz. About halfway through the program today, and want to thank our corporate partners, J. Smith Construction and Sensigreen Heating and Cooling and Insulation. Got a couple of comments coming through that I want to hit on. And by the way, the phone lines are always open on our show, 256-234-6221. Go into Ed's comments. Guys, watch Will Cain's interview on the Texas Tech donor, CEO of Double Eagle Energy Holdings, talk about NIL and school collectives. Cody tells it like it is about what schools are paying, including Indiana. Need to check that out. Have you seen that? Thank you, Ed. That's not one that I've watched. But the one thing that I will add on top of what Ed says there is they're being pretty honest with the direction of the way things are going and the Jimmy Raines of the world for a lot of these programs out there. And as long as the rules are what they are, then there's no reason for them to not step up and say, well, here's how we're positioning ourselves. And until the rules change, we've committed to putting X amount of dollars towards these different programs, and we care about it. And whether we get a return of our money or the school gets a return, we'll watch and see. But there are deep, deep pockets out there, and if they choose to do this, Jim, then they can.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think he's referring to what we were talking about opening the show with a blueprint of what you're getting there.
Yep.
I still don't think if you look at Indiana's money, which I'm going to go find this interview and check it out myself, so I appreciate him telling us that, is I want to see the true numbers and see if Indiana is one of them like us spent 20, 25, 30, or did they pull an Ohio and they're above the ladder and they're paying that $40 million, to get what they got.
Yeah, and I think
you don't see any, for me anyway, looking on their roster, you don't see any of those household names like a Cam Coleman or somebody jumping off the page.
Well, no, but you got a lot of older players that in order to get them, say the center from Notre Dame, you're not getting him on the cheap.
Right.
I mean, Notre Dame, the last thing, it's always a leverage game when you're in business. You know that.
Here's a question, because this is an Auburn show, and a name that was thrown out a bunch last night, Keontae Scott.
Yeah.
How much do you think they paid for him?
I don't think Miami paid a lot for him, and the only reason I don't think they paid a lot for him is because we did such a poor job of we had him developed and we lost him.
That's what I'm getting at.
But when you lose and your opinion of your play goes down the way that unfortunately Auburn's has allowed so many of our players that we were excited about and saw great expectation out of as we moved on, like Keontae Scott. Brett and I raved on Keontae Scott.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of those in the return game or whenever he touched the ball, he's like, that guy's got a different speed to the way that he plays.
Mm-hmm.
He may lack size or lack whatever, but he plays different. And then the very next year, you move him out of position, you get the yips, and you're not getting the same production that you saw in the past. And he ends up over at Miami, and barring that injury, he's a first-team All-American this year. He deserved to be. That's how good he played. So it's unfortunate, and I think that kind of goes back to what Timothy says here. It goes back to evaluation of talent, and Cignetti took players that fit his system and were hard-nosed players. What we said yesterday, Timothy, is agreeing with you completely, and he also went old. The thing that I applaud Golish and staff about with the offensive line choices that we've made is we are going old. They may only have 1 year to compete for Auburn, but they're going to have so many snaps under their belt that when they walk on and the system's laid down, their chances of having above average plays really strong. Whereas if you go get someone that has tremendous talent but doesn't have the snap count that you're seeing from others, the film that you can go back and watch and say, he may not be able to do this, but he can do all of these things. Does that work into the system that I'm looking for? And so, Timothy, I think you're dead on. I think that's what we were saying yesterday, Jim.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's from the coaching side of it, that's what we've explained before about this, is if you've got a guy, like you said, you went and got a fifth-year guy, he may not be the most athletic tackle we've ever had, but we're not asking him to be that. In the system, we're going to spread everybody, get him out of the box, so you're not going to put him into spots where he's got to be a lot of one-on-one stuff.
Yeah, you can
emphasize what he does well and work with it.
Well, I said that with the quarterback decisions for so long with Gus Malzahn. It's like why you would go recruit one style of quarterback and in the same class recruit someone that plays and looks nothing like the style of play, and you're the one doing the choosing.
Correct.
It makes no sense.
Right.
I mean, even if you happen to be the backup, you've got to change the whole system around, and that's very difficult to do. And so the biggest problem I had is what Jim said, though, was like, hell, you're the one doing the picking.
Right.
Like, go and if that doesn't fit the system that you're after, then why would you choose that? And I love Gus Malzahn. I'm not trying to sit here and harp on that, but it was always one of my biggest complaints about him.
Sure, and that's what you got to know, or at least have some faith in the new coach. He knows what he wants in his system. So there's a reason he went and got his center that he's been with forever that's got 1 year left to play. He knew. He's been on all those snaps you've talked about.
I want to be old, man. I want to keep saying, I want to have an old, groomed, if they're a little less talented, roster. Auburn basketball last year.
Oh, yeah.
That is the roster that I'm going after in every sport if that's the angle that everyone else that seems to be winning's going. Look, you can pick at me all you want about having an average 23 to 24-year-old age. Please, every year, if you're putting a roster together that's that groomed, give me that. Well, and Auburn didn't have... You know, Janai ended up being a Player of the Year candidate, but he was developed into that Player of the Year candidate. He didn't come out of high school with that type of talent. No. Auburn didn't have a whole bunch of high 5-star players, i.e. Tahad, who was coming out of high school that was a major. No, they had developed, and they had also built it within the transfer portal.
Sure.
And they got guys that were 2 or 3 years into their career, like Denver Jones, like Chaney Johnson, that show up. And did we do a better job than where they came from developing? Absolutely. I think Ira Bowman and that staff at Auburn can develop them up. But we were old, and they knew how to play together, and they had been playing together for a couple of years. And so that's what you see with Indiana is that age is a big difference.
That's, give you a statistical number. I just throw 1,000 snaps out there. If you had a freshman that played all year, he's had 1,000 snaps. If we just went and got a center that's been playing for 5 years, he's had 5,000 snaps. Those are not on those two different levels.
No, and I'll quickly go over this, and then we're going to roll into basketball here shortly. But Ed says, Jim, just go look at Mark Cuban's tweets. He said Indiana paid what they had to for the right players, but gave Sig the credit for the evaluation. He's got money on the back end, deep pockets.
Oh, yeah.
Make the evaluation, pick the right guys, and make it work.
Yeah.
Make it work, and trust that your coaches are the ones doing the decision-making process there. And Cignetti, hey, you can't argue with it. What he put together was a miracle season for all of us that grew up watching Indiana football. And if you saw the tweet that went out last night, which was the crowd for Cignetti's first home game in Indiana, to see what they looked like in the stands last night. It's amazing how much you'll follow a winner. Go ahead and take another break here on the Auburn Blitz.
I'm Joseph Dean with Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation in Dadeville. We're located at 16797 Highway 280, which is on the corner of 280 and 49 North. With an on-site crematory in Opelika and a cemetery in Tallapoosa County, we are a full-service funeral home. To get in touch with us, feel free to come by or call us, 256-750-0381. And for any other questions, you can visit the website at lakemartinfuneralhome.com.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill in Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
A fresh start begins at home. This new year, Dixie Electric Plumbing and Air is bringing comfort your way with maintenance inspections starting at just $29 and installations as low as $50 a month. Start the year right with Dixie.
Looking to transform your outdoor space? Look no further than Bama Sheds. As a family-owned and operated business, we understand your needs. That's why we offer no credit check, rent-to-own options. Enjoy free delivery and setup within 35 miles of our 4 convenient locations. Whether you need a shed, pole barn, garage, or carport, we've got you covered. Visit our website at bamasheds.com or call 256-268-8484. Bama Sheds, where quality meets affordability and your outdoor dreams become reality.
Hi, I'm Abby Guy, Vice President at Riverbank and Trust. They say that most banks offer the same products, but Riverbank offers something most can't: personal connection. We love getting to know our customers by name and making them feel special with every interaction. It's a feeling of warm hospitality you won't find anywhere else. Experience it for yourself.
Grain and Leaf, located at 6068 Highway 63 South, is Lake Martin's premier boutique-style bottle shop with a unique array of sophistication for everyone. Appropriately named for its exclusive selection of top spirits, wine, and craft beer, Grain and Leaf also has a number of fine cigars for you to choose from. They also carry the full line of Hornsby Farms assorted jellies and pottery. Open 10 to 7 Monday through Saturday and noon to 5 on Sundays, Grain and Leaf is your premier shop in the Lake Martin area.
The all-new Winter Timber is now open, located right next to the Walmart Market across from the Auburn Mall. If the outdoors is your lifestyle, Winter Timber is your new headquarters. From rifles, ammo, and hunting supplies, camo, and all the outdoor essentials, they've got it in stock and ready for you. Winter Timber is here to serve Auburn, Opelika, and the entire Lake Martin area, and they'll make the drive worth it. For the best selection and the best service in outdoor gear, one name says it all: Winter Timber, the best in outdoor needs.
EnviroCare is the standard in East Central Alabama for all your pest control and termite needs. EnviroCare exclusively offers Centricon termite colony elimination system that is the industry's most effective termite control to protect your home year-round. The EnviroCare team's service is also the standard for our customers. From eliminating home pests to superior termite control, nobody cares like EnviroCare, serving Lake Martin and East Central Alabama.
Lake Martin Mobile Detailing is the #1 auto and boat detailing company in Central Alabama. Don't trust your vehicle or boat to just anybody. Hire the professionals. Top-of-the-line ceramic coating, detailing, gel coat restoration, and paint correction gives you the options to take care of your boat or vehicle the right way. Located on Highway 63, just about 2 miles from Highway 280 in Alexander City, Lake Martin Mobile Detailing will have you riding in style. Call them today at 256-794-2328.
When you want quality, selection, price, superior financing, and a pain-free buying experience, look no further than Sons Automotive Group of Montgomery and Auburn. Sons of Montgomery offers the best selection of Kias, Chryslers, Dodges, Jeeps, and Ram trucks. Conveniently located on Eastern Boulevard, Sons Ford of Auburn is the region's Ford volume dealer. And when you shop at any Sons location, they will maximize all incentives and financing options for anyone's credit. Whether Kia, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram in Montgomery, or Ford in Auburn, Sons Automotive treats you like family because they are family driven.
Welcome back into the Auburn Blitz, presented by J.A. Smith Construction and Sensa Green. I got a couple of more segments here on the program today. And Ed, thank you, by the way. Jim was starting to watch that podcast, the entire break of that segment. So make sure to check that out. I do think that it's going to be interesting for everybody out there. And I'll throw it out there really quick one more time. It's Will Kane interviewing Texas Tech donor and CEO of Double Eagle Energy Holdings. And it's about NIL, and it's about Texas Tech's plans and how they flipped this thing as quickly as they did, Jim.
No, and it's most definitely, and to refer back to you for a second, Ed, Randy and I were going off of a interview Cuban did pregame on CBS, I think it was, that he was stating that, hey, we made great evaluations, we didn't spend, and he was also getting to the part of, we don't go out there and offer the big name guy the big time money because that's not the locker room they're looking for. So in my mind, he was kind of throwing it out as maybe they didn't spend as much, but also they're looking for that environment, that culture, that they don't want to go pay the top grade guy. They want to get a bunch of blue collar guys.
It's still, Jim and I talked about it during the break. When you got Mark Cuban's money sitting back there,
sure,
who's got to be one of the deepest pocket donors that you can ever go after, multi-billionaire. You're not going to miss out on him for $500,000 if you feel like, if your coach feels like it's the right fit for the locker room. And I think at the end of the day, you see what has been produced by Indiana in a short term. They're very well coached. They're process oriented. They've got a plan. They know how they're going after and what their budget is for what they're spending. And it resulted into a national championship. And hopefully for Auburn, we've got the right coach in place now, and we can do the same. Let's transfer over and let's talk a little bit about Auburn basketball. And Lyle's asked a question, so I'll present it to you, Jim. Has Jovic figured it out, or was Saturday a fluke?
I mean, that's what I'm hoping for. I saw that light bulb kind of come on in his mind. and we discussed it a little bit yesterday, if you put him playing at that level now with Hall the way he's been playing, I mean, you got a team make a run here, especially with Pettiford being in that mix. He's, like you were talking about, developing. That's why I think he works so well with those older guys. He didn't have all the pressure on him. Now he's having to learn how to develop, that he's got to go out there and make some plays on his own.
I do. I think that is the one thing that separates this Auburn program from past Auburn basketball programs and some of the other, like the football team that we seem to be struggling with, is that development piece. And we've done that. We've proven that. And I keep bringing up Ira Bowman because it's who Bruce Pearl pointed to, as he was his lead developer. And as long as you still got that guy in the building, he didn't forget how to coach up players and get the best out of them. And if you don't think we got the best out of Chaney Johnson, you're crazy. If you don't think Auburn developed Dylan Cardwell higher than maybe anybody else in this country would have, you're just nuts. Denver Jones, I can keep going. So I think Jovic is the exact same type of player. Does he have the 6'10", 6'11" frame? No, but we need a burly guy that's physical enough to be able to do some things, and he's 6'8", and he's getting a lot of confidence. And I do point to that development piece that Auburn's always been good with our basketball program. And I did like also that the team realized that he had a hot hand and let's go through him. And I did like that Steven said, I tell you what, you're going to play this well, you're not coming out. You play in the entire second half, every single second of this second half. We see what you're doing. We see the effort, and we need this moving forward. And Auburn doesn't need to be a 2- or 3-headed monster. You get to a 4-, 5-, 6-headed monster where all of those pieces can score in double figures each night. That's where you get a little bit deeper team. And I think that that's a necessity in today's game, the way that the up-tempo, high-pressure Texas A&M, Bucky McMillan play. Good luck. I've been saying it for 15 years since watching him even back in his high school days. You got 6. Going to go out there and play that. They may look all right for the first 10 or 12 minutes. But at a certain point, if he's playing 10 or 12 players and you're playing 6, it's going to come to an end. And he never takes his foot off your throat. I love the way that we've developed some deeper benches in the last few years, and I'm hopeful that we do the best we can with what we've got this year. But Steven, I think, knows that, and he's got the coaches around him that can develop. So my answer is, I think that it's going to continue, and I think that it needs to continue as Auburn takes on Ole Miss. Both of these teams 11-7 on the year. Ole Miss 3-2 in conference. Auburn 2-3 coming off that win. ESPNU at 8. Looking at field goal percentage for both of these teams, pretty equal. Auburn a little bit better field goal percentage. 3-point percentage. Ole Miss a little bit better. So shooting the basketball on the offensive end, both of these teams pretty equal. Auburn does have 4 percentage point better free throw shooting. A lot of that comes from Keyshawn Hall and how often he gets to the line and how well he shoots once he gets there. Auburn averaging almost 9 points per game more than this Ole Miss squad at 85 and Ole Miss at 76. The one thing that I think Auburn doesn't get, we're not giving them enough credit for, as small as it seems like the post players are in comparison to years past, is Auburn doesn't get out-rebounded all that often. And you don't look down and Auburn's been beat by 12-14 on the boards. And I thought earlier in the year, Jim, that was going to be an issue. But going into this basketball game, Auburn comes in averaging 38 rebounds to 37 for Ole Miss. We'll run down some more stats as we come back from this break and got one more segment here on the Auburn Blitz.
At Central Alabama Community College, we provide a quality education that will set you up for success. Whether you're pursuing a degree or advancing your career with technical training, CAC offers premier programs at 4 campuses in Alexander City, Childersburg, Prattville, and Talladega. From industrial, electronics to machining, our students are prepared for the workforce or further education. At CAC, you'll enjoy vibrant campus life, exciting athletics, and personalized support, all at an affordable price. Your future starts here at CAC. Apply today.
Bundle your home and auto and save money with State Farm's personal price plan. Contact State Farm agent Ron Carroll today at 256-378-6631 or visit him on Highway 280 in Childersburg. Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer availability. Eligibility may vary.
For air that's cool and clean, call Sense Green. For air that's cool and clean, care about the air you breathe, call Sense Green.
Turn to the experts at Sensagreen and find out how to get up to $1,000 in carrier cool cash rebates. Visit Sensagreen.com today to be worry-free when it comes to your home comfort and indoor air quality.
For air that's cool and clean, care about the air you breathe, call Sense Green.
Central Alabama. This is our home. It's where we work, where we play, where we raise our families and grow old. And in the unfortunate event we become sick with cancer, thanks to UAB Medicine Russell Medical Cancer Center, this is where we heal also. We have invested in new technologies and expertise so that now we're able to treat all sorts of cancers, and you never have to leave Tallapoosa County. UAB Medicine Russell Medical Cancer Center. Compassionate, convenient, collaborative cancer care right here at home.
EnviroCare is the standard in East Central Alabama for all your pest control and termite needs. EnviroCare exclusively offers Centricon termite colony elimination system that is the industry's most effective termite control to protect your home year-round. The EnviroCare team's service is also the standard for our customers. From eliminating home pests to superior termite control, nobody cares like EnviroCare. Serving Lake Martin and East Central Alabama.
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
Buying a home or property can be the biggest investment of your life. The Wisdom Firm is licensed to close any property purchase in the entire state of Alabama. The office is on both Bent Creek Drive in Auburn and Highway 49 South at beautiful Lake Martin. The Wisdom Firm has you covered. Give Travis and his team a call at 334-826-0722 or check them out at www.auburnlegal.com for all your real estate closing needs. No representation is made that the quality of legal services is greater than the quality of legal services made by other attorneys.
Folks around these parts have known for a long time that Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280, is your #1 stop for automotive service and repair. At Walls Tire, you'll always find quality service at a fair price on everything from AC, name brand tires, big or small repairs, routine maintenance, towing, and more. When your car or truck needs to run right, there's one place in the area to go, conveniently located and easy to find. Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280.
Grain and Leaf, located at 6068 Highway 63 South, is Lake Martin's premier boutique-style bottle shop with a unique array of sophistication for everyone. Appropriately named for its exclusive selection of top spirits, wine, and craft beer, Grain and Leaf also has a number of fine cigars for you to choose from. They also carry the full line of Hornsby Farms assorted jellies and pottery. Open 10 to 7 Monday through Saturday and noon to 5 on Sundays, Grain and Leaf is your premier shop in the Lake Martin area.
Off these stats for this matchup tonight. Auburn at Ole Miss, 8 o'clock tip, ESPNU. Just went through rebounds where Auburn holds a slight edge. These last 4 stats, though, Jim, very, very close when you look at both of these teams. 14 assists apiece, both of them. 11 turnovers to 10. Auburn slightly, unfortunately, with the 11 to the 10. Auburn with about 1 more steal per game more than Ole Miss. And other than that, these are 2 very similar teams, and both teams that, when you're looking down, Ole Miss 3-2 in the conference, Auburn 2-3, both 11-7. It's hard to say bubble this early in the season, but it's games like this that are going to make the difference on whether Ole Miss gets in the tournament or Auburn gets in the tournament, you may look back at a key game like this against two teams that are pretty equal to each other.
Well, we're sitting here looking at a pile of stats on both of these teams, and like you, there are a lot of mirroring stats on both sides, but the one that jumps off the page at me is defense. Ole Miss is allowing 70, and Auburn's putting up 85 a game. That's going to be the key to this game. Do they hold Auburn below their average, make Auburn, slow the game down? I think that's 100% what's about to happen.
Probably one of the most concerning things to Auburn fans in comparison to what we've seen in years past is the defensive efficiency for this team has gone down. Auburn giving up an average of almost 79 points per game.
Yep.
We haven't been there, man. We have made it exceptionally difficult to score buckets against this Auburn team. But nonetheless, it feels like we're playing some of our better ball now. It was a really good win. How much of that was because we were at home? Hopefully not a lot of it, but I tend to lean to that home court advantage, especially in basketball, may be more important than any other sport.
Yeah, because it's always been that way to me that all those fans are on top of you. It's a small arena. If I'm playing off of emotion and getting jacked up, home is where I'm going to get jacked up.
And it's an environment. I don't know. It's a depth perception from buckets. It's just different in each gym. And Auburn's been outstanding, our home gym, and I hope that continues with Stephen here at the helm. But big basketball game tonight, and we'll take any phone calls you have on that, 256-234-6221. SEC standings coming into today. Texas A&M, Bucky McMillan in year one, sitting there at the top of the SEC with a 4-1 mark, 14-4 overall. Florida gaining their sea legs. They're now 4-1 in the conference, 13-5 overall. Watched a little bit of their previous game, Jim, and that is another championship contending team for sure. Vandy's lost a couple of games here recently to go back to 16-2 overall and 3-2 in the conference. Georgia's 15-3 and 3-2 in the conference. They're really making a push to get out of that cellar dweller where Georgia basketball has been for far too long and make a step up. Alabama, a little bit better basketball team right now if you look at the record in the SEC play than Auburn, but not much. 13-5 overall. 3-2 in the conference, currently ranked number 17 in the country. It's Arkansas that Auburn just took it to a couple of weeks ago. 3-2, 13-5 overall. And there's a whole bunch of us that seem to be right there together with either a 3-2 or 2-3 mark. It's the reason that games like this, and I know that they're on the road, you got to find a way to win them. And it's unfortunate Auburn didn't find a way to win that opening game in OT against Georgia after that great play at the end to lead that one into overtime, because stealing a win on the road's what makes the difference in SEC play.
Wasn't it, though, if I remember, because I only saw about half of that game, Auburn had a tremendous lead and let them come back into that thing.
Well,
we got a fatal finish.
We've been in that situation with Texas A&M, too, where we had a 16-point lead and gave it up in about a 2-minute stretch.
Yeah.
But it goes back to that depth piece. And you got to play with what hand you're dealt right now, and do I feel like Auburn is as deep as we could have been if we would have opened up the pocketbooks and spent about $3 to $5 million more on this basketball team? No, I don't. But nonetheless, this is who we are, and hopefully as good as our coaching staff has proven in the past that they can get this team better as the season moves on, that we do. And I think that Ed's question, or I can't remember if it was Ed, but it may have been somebody, but Jovic's play right now, if we can get him to become maybe that third leading scorer here on the team, maybe even jump up to the second leading scorer on this team, and that's going to take consistent games where he's scoring around that 20-point mark would make up the difference.
Is it, going back to what you said about a depth piece, if you feel like there's only 6 to 7 guys that are going to contribute, does that make Stephen Pearl want to slow the game down and go possession to possession or run the floor? If you run the floor, to me, you're going to wear those 6 guys out.
I think it would to me, but, you have a style of play that you built into your program for far too long, and to get away from it, especially with the same assistants that you had on staff for a long time, is probably difficult. And I think that part of that is the reason that you look down in this Auburn team, along with our inefficiencies down in the post. is giving up almost 79 points per game. That's got to be about 12 to 13 points per game more than what that I mentally think that our average was during those nice stretches under Bruce.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of what I was getting at, was that if you've got that running gun style, you got a Hall that loves doing that kind of play. Pettiford loves playing that way, getting up and down the floor. Well, you can build up these 16, 18-point leads, but then you're blowing them. Like, there's got to be a way to put a Band-Aid on the bullet hole somewhere.
I think that what you bring up is my exact take following that A&M game. And it's not a fluke that A&M's sitting here at the top of the league. I don't think they're the most talented team at all. And if you told me they only end up at 500 by the end of the season, I wouldn't be surprised, because watching them. But the thing that I've known, because I've seen it with my own two eyes, and the thing that I've always expected would find its way into the SEC game, and it's crazy to think that the high school ranks is even a little bit more generated toward this than you see in the college game, and that's that playing 12 to 14 different players and keeping them fresh and having a role for them. And sometimes that role is not to average 14 points per game. Sometimes it's to average 3 points per game, but be the best on-ball defender. And sometimes it's, I need you to go in there and I need you to rough up an inside player and I need you to rebound the basketball and play a little Dennis Rodman role. And I've seen it far too much with Bucky McMillan. This is who he is. This is what he creates. I think he's a little bit ahead of schedule. But I do think Stephen Pearl, given an off season to build this thing back up, and Auburn understanding that we probably could have been a lot better team by spending $4 or $5 million more, I think is going to be key.
Sure.
Jim, appreciate you being up here with us. I'll have Brett back up here with me tomorrow. He's been all over the state of Alabama as we're covering high school sports this week. We got this public-private school thing coming down the line later in the week, and we'll try to cover that as Brett's been in and out of high schools the last few days and ending last week. He'll know a lot more than I do, and looking forward to hearing from you. So for Jim Hardy, I'm Randy Lee saying thanks for tuning into the Auburn Blitz.